Every conversation starts the same way, with competition. This is Coffee.Press.Play, a live experience from the Business of Games podcast brought to you by Exola. We bring the best minds of the games to the table, but first, we make them compete. One game, one cup of coffee, one honest conversation about all the things we love about the business of games. Let's press play. Welcome to Coffee.Press.Play, an event series by the Business of Games podcast. Today we have Jenny Xu. Jenny, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do in the games industry?
Yes, I'm CEO of Talofa Games, based out here in SF, and I have been making games ever since I was 12 and also been like a competitive runner since I was 12. So with my company now, Talofa Games, we merge those two. So we make mobile games that get people mentally and physically healthier, and we have two titles, Run Legends and Monster Walk, that both really turn the feeling of movement into something that feels more like play.
All right, cool. We're going to have some coffee. We're going to play a game. In this case, it's Super Smash Brothers. And depending on how you do, you're either going to get an easy question or a hard question. Okay? Easy question is if you beat me. Hard question is if I beat you. All right?
Okay.
So here we go.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? Jenny won.
No, it's a sudden death.
Oh, don't let me win this one. Did I win?
No, you lost.
Jesus Christ.
I guess like an easy hat, yeah.
Easy hat question.
Describe your path in the games industry in terms of a video game that you've played. I would have to say oldie but a classic, Pokemon.
Okay.
Pokemon Leaf Green, maybe specifically because that was my first game that I ever played.
Okay.
And to its completion. But because in Pokemon, the trainers start at age 10 or 12. Like, I started in the industry when I was 12. So it just felt very apt, like kind of coming in very, very young. I had my games that I started with were very bad. They're very, like, very tiny things, but like I kind of started to like fight my way to the top to, the Elite Four, the app stores. And I feel like just being that very young entrant into the gaming industry, but having my my games, my Pokemon accumulated over the years. Like, I had made about 133 games by the time I was 18.
Oh my gosh.
So like my 133 Pokemon kind of with me, taking me into the industry. And I think because of that, I've grown my confidence. And like now at age 28, I feel like I'm starting to take on, the Elite Four, the like bigger leagues, venture capital. And I wasn't that like 12-year-old like entry with my Pikachu anymore. Yeah.
I was at age 28. I was still trying to figure out life. So you seem to have a much better grasp. I'm going to go back to what you talked about a little bit before. When you were younger, you said you started making games. How did you get into that? It's I have kids.
Yeah.
Just getting them to brush their teeth is hard. You're making games. What was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was a very socially awkward and very introverted child. I was known up until high school for saying 1 to 2 word sentences, and that was it. I basically didn't speak, so I had to find. I didn't have a real life community, so I essentially gravitated online. Okay. And this was like when games like Neopets were very popular. I got very into Neopets, and because of Neopets, I got into art. Because I would draw my Neopets, and there's a very thriving Neopets art community. So I basically got into games because I was lonely, found my online community through arts, and then I realized through art I could make interactive experiences like games. Okay. And because people online liked playing my games, I actually felt like I finally belonged somewhere.
So did you start with HTML5 games? Was it more general games? Coding-wise, where did you learn to code?
Yeah, I started with Flash.
Flash, okay.
So Flash games could be uploaded onto the site where all the Neopets artists were on, which is deviantart.com. And then ActionScript 2 and then ActionScript 3. Those are my first languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you continued on and you started making more and more games, where do your ideas come from?
Yeah. I was a huge anime and manga fan, specifically dark psychological horror.
Okay.
So I would read a lot of these series where like the kids are like killing each other and it's like really dark. And I'd think, oh, that'd make a great game idea. Like, what if you woke up one day and you didn't know why your friend is dead, but all you have are like a series of 5 photos of like the clues. And like now you're like playing an escape the room point and click adventure game. And I would like be on my run and like thinking about the anime I just watched that was really messed up. And then I'm like, that's a great game idea. And then like basically I'd come home from cross country practice and then make that game like in maybe 1 to 2 days and publish it online. And it was like a very, very fast, like I'd be hit by a spark, make it. And it was like this continuous like outlet of my like ideas from the like all this content I was reading and like churning on when I ran. Yeah.
And some people may or may not know this. And you've said this earlier before in our podcast earlier, but at the same time through us getting to know each other, you put yourself through college with games.
Yeah.
And like I said, your unique story in this to me is that you never stopped making games despite where you were in your path, right? So you did all the things that you're supposed to do in order to get a job in games. But you never did that. You actually were working in games while you were trying to get into games. That to me is the most interesting part. You know, and you talked a little bit about the influence of your dad.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you were going through college, right, you're doing all these things. How did you balance all that?
I think pretty much everything before college for me was games. Like I was just chronically online, like making games, super introverted, no friends. And then the moment I hit college, I had this thought of like, basically what happened was my dad was so worried about me not having any friends that he gave me a copy of Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
He was like, you need to know how humans work. So I got that book and I finally realized like I needed to look people in the eye and repeat their name for them to like me.
It's amazing.
And then, when I entered college, that was when I actually had to learn how to balance because I was recruited to MIT's cross-country track and field team. So that's how I got into college. So we had to run 70 miles a week.
Oh my God.
So that meant running 3 miles in the morning, 8 miles in the afternoon, and then strength training at night. So it was like a very rigorous training routine. And then I wanted friends, so I joined maybe about 10 clubs. And then I also had to do schoolwork, so I had to do that. And then I also was making games still. So it was just this like, it felt like for the first time I was like trying to become a holistic human, and that itself was the game. Okay. It was like very fun for me to like, kind of each year of college was like, freshman year was like incredibly uncomfortable. It was like learning how to socialize. Second year I got into the swing of things. I started like becoming the RA of my floor.
Okay.
And then by senior year I felt like I'd balanced it all, but also I was more confused than ever about my career. Because like I entered college thinking games would be it. And like I exited college being like, I want to be a software engineer at Google. That's what all my friends want to do. So I kind of became more influenced by like the people around me. But when I entered, I was very like single track minded. Games are it. And then I kind of exited being like, gaming is hard. Yeah.
Well, here you are today. You know, you've come a long way. I will say, knowing you for probably the last, was it 6 years?
Yeah.
I would never have known all of this, right? So you definitely have made strides, and it's been incredible. So I want to thank you for coming on our little event here, the Coffee.Press.Play, a series event brought to you by the Business of Games podcast. I'm sure we'll be in touch, so thank you for being here.
Thanks, Ed.